What's up, you cowards? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am in a pretty good mood. I am finally healthy. I was really sick over the past, I want to say like 2 weeks, so my voice is finally back and I can finally do this voiceover for this doll makeover. If you've seen my previous Princess Serenity video, this is gonna kind of be the same format. However, I decided to maybe show a little bit more in-depth stuff this time. I also decided to save the hair that I cut off. I don't really know why. Maybe I'll use it. We'll see. I decided to maybe talk a little bit more about the process in this video. So one of the things I did notice is that being patient with removing the hair will make it way easier for you, especially if you do multiple soakings to get all of the glue loose and to make it easier for yourself to actually take the hair out so you don't ruin any of the hair plug holes. In one of my previous face-up videos, someone actually left a comment saying to use a flathead screwdriver, to use that to scrape all of the glue out instead of using pliers, which makes way more sense. So thank you to whoever posted that. I'm sorry I forgot who did, but just, yeah, I have this tiny flathead screwdriver that I just had lying around, and it makes it so much easier this way as opposed to just using the pliers to try to get the glue out. Also, look at the, oh my god, look at that huge. So this is going to be a little bit sporadic, but I was also sick when I was making this, so I kind of went back and forth with a whole bunch of different stuff. So I decided to move on to the outfit. Now, initially, I had no idea if this was going to turn out. I'm not great at sewing. I do not have the patience for it. So I decided to try and copy this shirt that came with the doll originally and use that to make the mesh top, which I used a tool actually to make it look like a mesh top. I just realized that my nose is kind of stuffy. Anyways, moving on to the bodice portion of the dress, I have this black fabric that I've just been saving, and it has this damask pattern on it, and it has a kind of like matte and shiny portion of the fabric. I just think it looks nice, so I decided to use this as opposed to just a flat black fabric. I don't really know how to explain it, but this is kind of what I did for the bodice. It kind of just reminds me of like a lingerie corset type thing. Moving on to the bottom portion of the dress, I wasn't really sure how I wanted to make this. I wasn't sure if I wanted to follow more with the anime or the manga. I know that the dress is actually supposed to actually have 2 slits, one on either side, but it looks weird to me. So I opted to do just the one deep, high slit on the one side. Now, because of what I wanted and the general design that I had to go for, I had to actually sew the outfit onto her, so it stuck onto her forever. Can you still hear how sick my voice sounds? It doesn't sound very good, I'm sorry. Now for the straps of the dress, I'm just using ribbon, and I am sewing that on the inside of the dress and tucking the ends inside as well. For the bottom portion of the dress, I'm just pinning that into place and then hand sewing that as well. So here you can kind of see the general idea of what I wanted. You can see that it's a very high slit up the leg, but because I made the corset be like a onesie kind of, it does cover the bottom portion of the doll, so that is all covered. This just reminded me of like, where did the soda go, so I left it in. This is also the first time that I have not broken any needles while rerooting. For whatever reason, when I was using the acetone to take the black paint off of the head, I couldn't get the black paint out of the dots, so I just ended up deciding to paint over it with a light pink acrylic paint. And here is the rerooting, which is my least favorite part of the entire process. Also, do you like my cow nails? They are definitely just because Kylie Jenner popularized it. Now, the one thing that I did notice is that when I was rerooting, if I felt any resistance, I would just kind of twist the tool until the needle went in, and I didn't break any needles this time. After rerooting, I decided to just use fabric fusion again and use that to seal all of the hair. And here I am using 100% acetone and removing the original factory paint. Would you guys be cool if I did a whole bunch of like really anime sounding voices on my channel? Because I actually really like voice acting, but is also kind of infuriating, and I don't like reading lines. I found this one voice actor, and she kind of just does weird cutesy songs, and it's really cute, and I wish I could sound like her, but I think this is the best I can do. Also, not to mention that I still have a cold. So what did I do here? I think I just prepped the face, and I decided to prep her fingernails, and I think I just kept sewing the dress a little bit. Now here I am using my original Princess Serenity doll, and I'm just keeping her on hand so I can kind of reference and make them look somewhat similar. So during the face up, you're gonna see some parts are missing because I wanted to refrain from doing this because it was really jarring to watch it while also sped up. So sometimes I just have to flip the doll upside down so I can get a better perspective on painting, or I can just get a better handle of where I am. So I just had to flip it upside down every once in a while, and I tried to just cut that out as much as I could. So sometimes there will be just more paint as opposed to the last shot. For my face-up supplies, they are the exact same supplies that I've been using prior, and it will be linked in the description. And suddenly I remembered my gloves. I highly recommend that you wear gloves when you are doing face-ups. You have no idea how easy it is for your fingers just to get dirty suddenly. That sounds weird. For whatever reason, when I was doing this face-up, I decided to be adventurous and do different things. I tried to do like white eyebrows. Looks really bad, so it looks good on other people's dolls. I've seen a whole bunch of dolls with white eyebrows and it looks really good. I just couldn't make it work. So you'll see she has white eyebrows. They disappear after a while. Whenever I'm drawing or doing face-ups, but just drawing in general, it's always good to go really light to very dark. I always tend to do the outlines in brown before I move on to black. Hi, this is several days later. Yeah, so I kind of took a couple days, so the recording from now on is a completely different time. So if it sounds different, that's why. I think at this point I realized that her eyes were starting to look really like one-dimensional, so even though in the canon I think her eyes are supposed to be red because they're supposed to be similar to like a white rabbit, and a lot of white rabbits have red eyes, they're supposed to be red, but I opted for pink just because it kind of clashed. Like, I always thought that the red eyes kind of clashed, so I just went with pink. But within the pink eyes, I added a little bit of a purple shadow, and I always try to tend to make the upper portion of the iris a little bit darker, just because it kind of usually naturally is, just because of how lighting works. So you'll notice that the crescent moon on her forehead has changed again. I think this is the second or third time I changed it. I just wasn't happy with it. A little bit of acetone on a Q-tip. I just took off the original one and just redrew it again. Sometimes you just have to start over. I think at this point I started to darken up her makeup, and I think that's it. Oh, I did add some freckles and a little black heart. I just thought it would be fun. It's not because of Harley Quinn, it's actually because of this other artist, and I will link all of their stuff below. I've actually done a couple like fan art related things from this artist. Unrelated side note, my last art video that I did, which was I think my painting on Polaroids video, actually did kind of well. Do you guys like when I talk about sustainability and stuff like that? I think it would be interesting, just because I'm all about that shit right now, so I would be totally down. I already have an idea of a painting that I really want to do, and I think I want to talk about the generational gap between sustainability and what it means to each generation. And I think it might be interesting to talk about that, and maybe, I don't know, something sustainability related though. I think in the time I was talking about that, I actually used some highlighter to give her some highlighter. I don't know, I thought it would be fun. I'm not the one who figured out that this worked. I actually don't remember who started doing this. I think I was just watching a couple different face-ups, and I remember someone used highlighter, just like regular highlighter that we can use. I used mine, I think it's Too Faced, and it's called Blinded by the Light, I think, and I tried that and it actually totally works, but not my idea. But I can't remember who started doing it. And if you don't have highlighter, or if for whatever reason you don't want to use highlighter, there are definitely powders you can use in like your art supply section. I think they're called like mica powders. People usually use them for card making. So right now I'm just adhering this elasticized lace? I don't know what to call it. It's basically just elastic, but it looks like lace, and I just had it around. I thought with the little trim on the edge of the elastic it would look really cute, so I decided to use that for the neck portion and the sleeves of the dress. I had this sheet of rhinestones for, I want to say, like at least 7 or 8 years, because I hoard art supplies. But I had this and I saved it because whatever, and I figured these little rhinestones would kind of look like her earrings, so I decided to use these. I also debated whether I was going to put rhinestones on just the elastic itself, but I decided it would look a little bit cleaner if I put the rhinestones on a separate piece of ribbon, and then put that piece on the elastic instead. And now I'm just going to put the head back onto the neck peg. If you're having problems, just try boiling the neck peg. I always have my heat gun on my table because I use it a lot, so I just use the heat gun and kind of made the neck peg warmer, and then I shoved that head back on. Also, sorry, not sorry, but I did not film the Odongo. I was so frustrated at this point. I just didn't want to film me making it. I was mad, okay? I made some black roses. I actually have a really bad tutorial. I will link it. And I added some ribbons, and I think I'm pretty much done. Oh, and seal her face. Seal her face. I don't think I showed that. I actually really like how she came out. It was a little bit darker than what I'm usually kind of doing. It kind of reminded me of when I did my Harley Quinn doll, and I just really like how she came out. If you live near me and you haven't seen me at my previous art show, I will be showing her off at my new art show, and I will link it in the description, so if you're going to be there, you can see her in person. Anyways, this voiceover took me like 4 or 5 days to record because I took 4 days off in between recordings. But I hope you like this video. I hope it was somewhat informative, or you had fun, or something. Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye!
My name is Black Lady, Queen of Darkness. Wiseman, ruler of darkness, chose me.
Are you kidding me? That sounds so bad.